When my best friend was sadness, you came in, pushed the darkness away as you did, and brought me a brighter day. Taught me how to live again, and you've been my only friend. You came in my life when I had nobody. You gave me somebody. Took this old heart of mine, dusted off, yes you did. Gave me something to live for. Oh, now you wanna leave, now you wanna go, now you wanna go. Leaving me on my friend, leaving me on my friend. What friends on my mind, yeah. How can I get over you when all the strength in me comes from you? You came in my life when I had nobody. You gave me somebody. Took this old heart of mine, dusted off, yes you did. Gave me something to live for.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome to our show. I'm your host, Brother Lance Shabazz, and you're viewing the Lance Shabazz Show. All praises are due to Allah. We have this opportunity to come into your homes, into wherever you may be viewing this particular program at that particular time. We thank you. We ask for 30 minutes of your time. During that 30 minutes, we hope to inform you, to encourage you, to enlighten you, to inspire you with some of this history. I am a Muslim student, follower of the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and I'm just grateful and thankful for the privilege and honor to come before you to give you some of this history. Joining me today is Sister Jocelyn Ruth Fatimah Muhammad Shabazz Allah. Assalamu alaikum, my sister.
Walaikum salam, sir.
Thank you so much for traveling here and giving us this time and coming to the Lance Shabazz Show. And could you give us a backdrop of yourself?
Well, first of all, I've been in the Nation of Islam since 1993.
Yes, ma'am.
And I came in Des Moines, Iowa.
Yes.
And right now, I'm a mother of 5. I have a program called Natural Healing. It's called Khie&Hale, which is basically dealing with maintenance of the temple.
Yes.
And if we know the temple is ourselves, and we must keep it maintained because Allah comes through us through that temple.
Yes.
So we must first, on a physical level, keep that temple maintained properly. So I do a lot of natural healings and different type of ointments and things that will help the body heal itself since such a long period of time of us not being able to take care of ourselves properly.
Yes, ma'am. Now, you, how did you come into this knowledge? Through studying? Are you licensed?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Yes, I am. Well, I came into this state, first of all, basically growing up around a family that my grandmother was into that type of healing all the time, and my mother was too. So I took it further as I had my children because it was something that I felt staying away from the doctors, as we call, just getting, as we know, doctors give you pills, and you're constantly sick, getting more ailments in different parts of the body after they may move one thing to some other organ. So basically, I came into this from being, from young time all the way up to now, and just expanded it more with the knowledge of understanding different herbs and things like that.
All right. Now tell me some of the cases. Now, is preventative? Is it preventative or conventional medicine?
It's preventative medicine, and it's basically all, like I said, all natural. Herbs, fruits, juices, different things like that. So there's no chemicals or anything involved in that.
And it's with any illness? Or?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. So if my grandmother, she used to, attend a temple in the early 60s,
yes,
and
sir.
she used to have difficulty with her asthma.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I guess back then the sisters didn't know how to deal with it, so they would take away, she had this little spray gun that she used to use, and they would take it in the check room and tell her she couldn't have it in in the auditorium. So many times she didn't come out. Now, what would the healing, what would be the process for that?
Okay, you have different herbs for that. Like most people, I deal with slippery elm. There's golden seal. Because basically, when we understand the human body, there is two major causes of our illnesses. It's parasites and pollutants.
Okay.
The parasites, they live in us and they live on us. And what I mean by live in us and live on us, they eat off our food and then deposit their waste in our body.
Okay.
And then the pollutants or the toxins that are in the body, and what it does, it causes the body to eventually deplete. So by you ridding the body of these parasites and pollutants, you give yourself, the body organs to breathe properly, to function properly. But when you have parasites, like you may see someone with AIDS, someone with diabetes, someone with breast cancer, whatever have you, they're parasites living in that area. And they're eating off of it, so it's starting to cause that organ or that artery to deplete. So there's different herbs, and there's a liver, colon, kidney flesh that I make that keeps the body in a good functioning position. And by doing this, you get rid of them. It's like going to war with yourself. You're doing an inward war. As we talk, we need to go to war on the outside. Well, we have to start in the inside first, because we've been 400 years of eating the wrong foods.
That's right.
So by eating those wrong foods, we have built up all these type of parasites, which are the trichinosis worms. You got the hookworms. All these type of worms are in our body, and I do have some pictures of that.
Right.
And in that, with these eating off our organs, they eventually cause depletion. But the body's so magnificent, it tries to rid itself of these. So that's where the secretions and the stones, like gallstones, kidney stones, starts to happen, because our body's trying to rid ourselves of these type of toxins and the pollutants and things. So you start to get, your body starts to get downward, the muscles start to lose its mass, you start getting all kinds of gray hair, because we don't really supposed to get gray hair, but because of the stress and the hardness that's happening to the organs, it brings on these type of things. So what we need to do is work on going at war with what's happening inside our body.
Okay. So for asthma, for lupus is another disease that they came up with.
Yes, there's so many, it's so many different remedies that I have for different type of the lupus. Like I do an ear candling. Ear candling is something that was done way back in the Egyptian and Indian times. And if you know, back in those days, they were very healthy people.
Yes, they were.
So the ear candling basically is a type of, we call it ear candling, but back in that time they call it ear coning. And it's a candle that basically I make them out of beeswax and hemp cloth. And you put the candle in the air and you draw out all the debris, which works on the lymphatic system. It works on all the different organs in the body, because if you know, the air deals with all the pressure points of the body.
Right.
So by you candling, it's a constant process. Some people may need 9, some people may need 11, depending on the individual. That's why I talk to each person. Right. And so as you're drawing all of this out of the air, it pulls out all of that, and you can actually feel it as you're doing this. And then after you're done, you take the candle and you look inside of it, and you can see all this stuff coming out of it.
How long is that process?
Like some people, I may use 1 candle, I may use 2 candles. It depends on the individual and what their situation is, because some people have a bad sinus problem. Right. So that may take a little bit more, But after you finish and I open the candle, I can show you actually what I pulled out of you. And sometimes you pull the parasites out of the ear too.
Is that right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's a very profound smell, because you pull waste, toxins.
Right.
So and sometimes you can actually see the parasites and stuff in the candling after you finish. So it's a lot of different things that I do, so that's why when you ask me about the asthma and different things, it's different remedies for each thing, but the candling will work on basically everything. Okay. Because it's dealing with the sinus, and like I said, the ear deals with the pressure points of the body. So as you're working, and depending on what the person may be dealing with, it may take 7 candles, it may take 9 candles, it may take 11, but it's depending on your situation. Okay. But you will actually feel process. In fact, I do myself, I do my husband, I do my grandchildren. And, it's a beautiful process,
All right, that's very interesting.
Yes, sir.
And what about with weight loss?
Okay, weight loss is basically, first of all, you have up here the books, How to Eat to Live. Right. My thing is to get people back on leaving the meat alone. See, the messenger did say, he said, meat is not good for you, but if you're going to eat halal. But he said it's not good for you.
Right, he told us to wean ourselves away from it.
Right, exactly. Right. So we really need to leave all those things alone, leave the meat alone, leave the fish alone, and just go to eating the vegetables, and drinking the things that what the messenger told us to drink. But a lot of us stray away from that, you know, and then that's where we wind up gathering weight, you know, because you are what you eat. You eat dead things, you start to let that stuff build up on you. But you eat live things, the body starts to live properly, you know. So it's all about how we and what we put in our bodies.
Now, you mentioned about the gray hair and anti-aging. Speak on that.
Well, I mean, now I'm going back to the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And excuse me, I have to say this because I did start. But in the name of Allah, the beneficent, the merciful, I bear witness there is no God but Allah, who came to us in the person of Master W.D. Farad Muhammad. And I bear witness that the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad is his last, greatest, and true apostle.
Now, you're not just saying that. You believe that.
No, I believe that, sir, because, you know, I don't want to go into my whole life history, but I know this to be true. In fact, a woman that I deal with, she's a sister that been in Black Bottom, Detroit in the 30s and met with Master W.D. Farad Muhammad himself.
What's her name?
Her name is Cecile Muhammad. She lives in Cedar Rapids, Iowa.
Okay.
You know, and she has, you know, a lot of us hear that Master W.D. Farad Muhammad is God himself, but when you hear somebody that actually sat with him, you know, I mean,
I'd like to, you know, if we could somehow get a contact, because I've been searching.
She would be happy to.
I've been searching for that one.
No, she has made my spirit so uplifting to know that, you know, a lot of us say, well, you know, we're still, and not disrespecting anything when we say we're Muslims, but when Allah came in the person of Master W.D. Farad Muhammad, he came here to let us know that God was in us. We're not the supreme being, but we are gods. You know, and he came to let us know this. And how we know this, we must stay to the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, right and exact, no adding to it, no taking away, and we can be that. Because when we do that, we're in submission with the will of Allah. So what I'm doing, I take no credit. Allah just blessed me with this understanding of what I call my program. It's called Khie&Hale, Temple Maintenance. And I call it Khie&Hale because it's named after my oldest daughter and my son, who was murdered back in Iowa in 2002. They're 3 months apart in the murder. My son was August 27th. My son was August 17th, and my daughter was November 25th. And I have my grandchildren now, which Allah has blessed me to raise them in the teaching of Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, so to help them see that this is the life. This is the only life. You know, it's the life-giving teachers. And as I was saying to my husband the other day, it means to live, love, intelligently. To live, love, intelligently, Farad, and Elijah. And when you do that, right, you become one with Allah. When you follow these teachings, you know, so that's, you know, where my program comes from, the spirit of Allah letting me know this is what he want me to do.
What were you doing prior to accepting Islam?
Well, prior to that, I was I was in the Rastafari.
Okay.
And, you know, that was bringing me a step closer to the teachers because, you know, the roots.
Instead of E, you was just with John. Good.
Yes, sir. So basically, it was preparing me for this, you know, because I originally lived in New York and then I moved out to the West. And I went to college out there, and to find out the school that I needed was the school of the University of Islam. So I found Islam there when I was in Des Moines, Iowa, because Minister Farrakhan he came that August, I think it was 27, 1992. He came to Des Moines, Iowa, and I went to the convention center there and heard him, and you know that's what just sparked me, you know, and so you know I just. From then, I just been hearing the teachings. I know this is where in Ross it was like dead seed for me.
Yeah, he did a lecture, I believe, in our world called "In the Beginning Was the Word."
Yes, he did.
That's right.
Yes, he did.
So, but that is beautiful. I always like to hear the backdrop, you know.
Yes,
and so, tell me more about this: the blood cleansing and the liver, you know, with the medicines and you know.
Okay.
The natural
Well, first of all, when we were in MGT class.
Right.
The Honorable Elijah Muhammad gave a warning to the MGT.
Yes.
It was problem number 13, where it's talked about the wife of Mr. W.D. Farad, uncle. She is other than herself. Weighing improper. She has rheumatism. She has high blood pressure. She has problems with her joints. She cannot walk to the store. Now, we know the problem book was given to us to see our illnesses in a mathematical way. Right. And it goes on to talk about how her pulse was 32, and her high blood pressure rated 32, and her pulse was 80 times per minute. Right. Now, when you think about it, that's a lot.
Right.
You know, and she died at 47. Now, I don't want to get into all the mathematics, but if we understand
get into the mathematics. Go ahead.
Well, if we get into the mathematics of Islam and we look at those numbers, they all bring some significance to it. And like I said at the beginning, the problem book was given to us to see, you know, all of our illnesses in a mathematical way. And now, if she died at 47, and you look at what 4 means, that's the foundation. 7 is God. So she died at an age before she reached her foundation with the Creator. Why? Because, see, when the messenger gave us that problem to do, he first dealt with the physical, he dealt with the mental, and he dealt with the spiritual. Now, the physical was the diseases that I just brought to you. And when you get into the mental and spiritual, and you look at what, you know, rheumatism is, it's the clogging, it's the muscles and the joints and everything just not joining together. Well, we're not joining together, as we need to come together as a brother and sister, because unity is the only way.
That's right.
We need to come together. And then the messenger further broke that down when he spoke on, as he broke it down in the papers, he said that she sits there and watch as her husband brings home someone. She's sitting there giving eyes to another man, you know. And so he was showing how we, as the black woman here in North America, in the wilderness of North America, has been made other than ourselves. Right. And we was not considered on top of the world. And what he said, I want to see you on top of the world weighing 120 properly. But as I just said to you, the prophet said she was weighing other than herself. Right. So that's saying that we spiritually have not gotten on that path. And first we have to start with the eating. You know, because, you know, I could tell you something now, but if you're so full up with diseases and pain, you know, what I say to you, you may hear it at that moment in time, but you go back to that pain that you're dealing with. Right. So it really just goes out of one ear, and you didn't hear me. You heard me for that moment. So you have to first start with each other on a physical level. Right. And that's to cleanse the body. So that's why I say a lot blessed me with this, to help my people, you know, to cleanse themselves internally so that they can go into the spiritual mental thinking to help themselves become one with Allah. And we as black people, we're messed up. We eat the pork, we eat, you know, all kinds of dead things, you know, I mean, and we're not eating properly. No. So, you know, like I said, again, because all praise is due to Allah, I'm just a servant doing what he wants me to do. He gave me this information to help, you know. The
seasoning of the foods, do you recommend seasoning on the
Well,
food?
if you're going to use seasonings, like the sea salts are the best things, you know. You have certain things like oregano, thyme, those type of things. Okay. You know, parsley. Those are more herbal like seasonings, and they're healthy for the body. Okay. You know, so I prefer myself to use that, and I recommend that. That's what people should use when they're cooking more oregano. Because oregano is like nature's antibiotic. You'll be surprised what it does. It's just like I know if you ever heard of golden seal. Yes. It's a similarity to golden seal because they have a oregano oil that does a whole lot. It's a very bitter taste, but it's good for you. You know, so I recommend that when you're cooking your food.
And what seasoning should you stay away from?
A lot of regular salts, black pepper, cayenne pepper if you want that hotness, because cayenne pepper works on the system and it keeps the pressure. You know, people will be surprised. That helps with the pressure. You have to minimize that. That keeps the high blood pressure low. Because, see, when you think about it, the arteries is what brings, you know, keeps the blood functioning to each part in the body that it needs to go to. So when you get them arteries clogged up, you're causing a big problem. You know, that's why a lot of people have, you know, problems with their heart, because their arteries are clogged up. And it starts from the high blood pressure, which is 2 cases of high blood pressure. You have primary and secondary. Primary is basically what comes from smoking cigarettes, chemical drugs, coffees, a lot of teas, you know, because too much of anything is no good. And then the secondary could be related to a kidney problem. You know, you might have a kidney problem that brings on high blood pressure too. So it's sometimes when we go to the doctors, you know, they tell you your pressure's right. It may be right for that time, but I advise everyone to at least have a high blood pressure monitor in their home to keep that regulated. Because sometimes when you get these headaches, it could be your pressure's up. And pressure is sometimes a sign of stress. And what we taught, stress is a sign of default in your duty. So maybe you're not doing what you're supposed to do, and you need to take a look at what you're supposed to do.
When do you decide that herbs is not enough, that, you know, that you may need a conventional medicine?
Well, when a person's situation is so bad that they have so many different ailments going on, they have a lapse with their kidney, a lapse with their liver, you know, they got all these different things, then I advise them to go into a doctor and get a treatment. Not saying that they have to stay there, but at least get a treatment, and then we can work on the different healings for whichever their ailments are.
And the teas, you mentioned tea. I drink tea. What do you recommend? Which type of teas?
Well, peppermint tea should be kept in your cabinet like you do an aspirin or because peppermint tea works on the herbs. I mean, excuse me, works on the nerves. Right. So you need to keep peppermint tea in your cabinet like you would keep an aspirin in your medicine cabinet.
And you take it with honey or
depending the good raw brown sugar or honey, and I do the pure honey, which is best, you know, or sometimes even the bee pollen because that's sweet itself. You know, so that, and sometimes you can drink it like it is better. You know?
All right. I'm learning quite a bit about this.
Praise due to Allah.
And you said you just studied this for how many years now?
Well, like I said, my grandmother used to work a lot of these remedies on us. So I kind of remembered some of these things. And then I got more into, as I, got older, I grew more into that because I was raising my children. And I didn't believe in going to the hospital every time something was wrong. So I got more into studying about different herbs and what was the benefits of these different herbs to help you. So, it's over years of constant studying. And as time goes by, I learn more and more because, knowledge is infinite. You never get enough. So
that's right. But now to get the license, how long was that?
Well, it's when you do it. It was a home-based program, so it was at my rate, which was a beautiful thing because, like I said, I had my grandchildren. I have a 4-year degree in school where I went to in Iowa, right? And I was working for the public schools at that time, so I wasn't really into my herbal thing yet, because you had to be, reality. You need to work and do what you have to do. So I taught in the schools. I was a paraprofessional in the schools for children that had learning disabilities. I worked with the physical ed there, all different type of things. And I was a program director for a program called Creative Vision in Des Moines, Iowa. And I worked there helping out with people that had financial problems, needed help with every area. So most of my time has been working with people because my degree is in human services. And so I've been working with people there to help them out.
All right. So for the audience, any tonics, any things you recommended?
Well, I make a liver, kidney, colon flesh, as I was saying to you before. And the liver, kidney, colon flesh, reason why, because those are 3 main organs that need to constantly keep clean. Why? Because the kidney deals with, our urine and all of that type of area, so we have to keep that flushed. Now, liver, look at the word, liver. You have to keep that going to continue living. And the colon, you'd be surprised. I just wanted, if you didn't mind me, I could show you some pictures now. If you look at this, right, this is the colon. And this is a picture of the colon when it's never been cleansed. That's all bacteria, waste. So by keeping the colon cleansed, you're keeping your immune system fresh, you're keeping everything going properly. Now, these are the type of worms, as I was telling you, you have the hookworm, you have the tapeworm, you have the, there's another one, you have the pinworms, and you have the roundworms. Now, if you think about it, Steve, now, the roundworms, they overnight drop 200,000 eggs in your body. Imagine that, And so this is why it's so important to keep these organs clean. Because if you constantly let it continue, then it grows, and that's why we have so much diseases. Because like I told you before, the parasites and the pollutants, the parasites are things that live in us and on us. They eat about food. You ever notice some people have a big appetite, but they never gain in weight? They have a worm. Some of these worms grow to be 8 feet in our body. Yes, sir. But they wrap around your colon. They wrap around different parts of your body. And I mean, I don't want to sound gross, but you ever get the itching sometime in your ankles or the itchings in your rectum and places like that? These are those tapeworms. That's the sign of letting you know that you have it. I mean, we all have it, because we've been eating other than self, but we can rid our body of the majority of them by keeping it cleansed. And that's why I said this liver, kidney, colon flesh does this. It works very profound. And it's nothing but herbs. It's juices and different things, garlic, different stuff is in it. It's about people garlic,
Is it affordable?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I do a concentrated gallon. It's a $50 thing, but it's so concentrated that I recommend everyone to take 8 ounces, distilled water afterwards, and you take it 5 o'clock in the morning, preferably, because that's the best time for the body to start to regulate. And you don't eat nothing. We follow the teachers. You don't eat until 4 o'clock. And then it starts to relieve you of all this. And you continue this for like a 2-week regimen until your body gets adjusted and you're starting to go to the bathroom properly. Because a lot of folks don't even go to the bathroom. You're supposed to go to the bathroom every day, and a lot of folks don't. So all this stuff is backed up. And this is things that's been in the call. And in fact, if you research more, they have people that have actually had their colon flushed. And a woman that swallowed a penny 20 years ago, that penny came out finally from collision. Yes, sir.
Is that right?
Yes, sir. It's an actual fact. Yes,
Oh,
sir.
I'm learning so much about this, my sister, and how to eat to live. You recommend how to eat to live after the process?
After I get you going and on your way and starting to, you're starting to feel your energy coming back. You're feeling much better. I recommend everyone to follow How to Eat to Live, because I'm not here to keep anybody. I'm just, the hospitals, they keep you forever,
right.
Because it's all about bureaucracy, but I'm here to get you started on getting yourself physically cleansed and stick to the messenger's teachings and you'll be fine.
Right. So, but this is beautiful. How could someone contact you?
Well, being that I just came here, I wouldn't recommend giving my email as much, but I can give my cell number is 319-241-7685.
319-241-7685.
Yes, sir.
All right. So certainly enjoying our conversation here with Sister Fatimah Muhammad Shabazz Allah.
Yes.
I'm certainly enjoying it. And for those, again, that telephone number is area code 319-241-7685. You're watching the Land Shabazz show. Is there any closing remarks that you have, sister?
No, sir. Just everybody needs to just stay focused on the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and you will be successful. You just got to stay focused here. Don't add, don't take away. Just the way He gave it to us. We'll be fine.
All right. Thank you so much. I've certainly enjoyed this conversation, and I hope to have you back again, and
yes,
perhaps you can bring the other half with you the next time.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much. From this time till next time, I'm Brother Land Shabazz. You're viewing the Land Shabazz show. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Peace, power, love, solidarity, and unity. We leave you in the greetings of peace and love, solidarity. Assalamu alaikum.
Take me to heart, and I'll always love you. And nobody can make me do wrong, take me for granted, leaving love unshown, makes willpower weak and temptation strong. You should understand, she's not just a plaything, she's flesh and blood, just like her man. If you wanna do